Good evening and good morning, everybody, wherever you happen to be around the world. As is normal for our Monday evening calls, we've got brand ambassadors with us from literally all around the world, not only from North America and South America, Central America, but also the nations of Asia. We've got Europeans on this call. We have Australia in the house with us. It's a great privilege to welcome all of you. But tonight is not just any ordinary product training call, because tonight is a history-making event, the first time ever that we are now hosting officially EMF 101. So tonight is going to be the first opportunity that you're going to get to listen to some phenomenal, detailed information from a world-class expert, Marty Grosjean, who is going to be giving the specialized training to all of us tonight. We obviously live in a time frame now where we have radiation that comes at us from every direction. We live in a different technological world than what we've lived in before, and Marty is going to share with us some phenomenally interesting information that will be an introduction to all of us about the brand new BD Protect line of products. We're absolutely delighted about this change, delighted about this new line of products, and what an honor it is for us tonight to have Marty Grosjean, who is the innovator and the inventor of the BD Protect line. As you can see from the information in front of you, Marty is the innovator that is behind the BD Protect EMF protection products. Marty, not only by himself, but he has partners in Europe, and they have been developing and distributing bioenergetic healthcare products for more than 20 years. Their proprietary technology is a unique approach to supporting health and well-being through the application of quantum energy at the subatomic level. I'm not sure that I even understand yet what those words mean, but because Marty is with us, we're going to learn what they mean tonight. But in addition to that, these BD Protect products, they involve neutralizing the harmful energy which is found in EMF radiation, and that will support our bodies energetically. Marty is a seasoned and diversified entrepreneur. He has founded 6 companies in his career, most of these companies in the area of holistic healthcare. Marty has a distinguished educational background with a bachelor's degree from the University of Colorado and an MBA from California State University. Marty and his entire Life Harmony Energies team are based in Boulder, Colorado, which is just literally a few hours drive from me, right here in Salt Lake City. We were commenting earlier that both of us are enjoying mid 80 to upper 80s temperatures right now in beautiful late summer, early fall weather. So Marty, it's a real privilege and an honor to welcome you officially to By Design and to the EMF 101 series, which begins right here and right now. So I'm happy to give the mic directly to you. We're all looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you very much, Dave. I appreciate that very generous introduction. First of all, let me just say that it has been a pleasure working with By Design in coming up with this exciting new line of EMF protection products. And honestly, I cannot say that I've met a single person working on this project who hasn't just been a pleasure and a joy to work with. So you guys should all be very proud of the team you're working with here at headquarters. They're a bunch of professionals, and I can tell the company is bound for success. And so we are pleased to be part of the program with these products and supporting By Design with their new line of EMF protection products. So I'm just going to jump in and run through some slides for you. And hopefully you can now see the title slide there. Somebody yell if you can't.
Yes,
this is just great. So this is a quick sneak preview. I'm going to go more later into the details of the actual products. But the initial launch is going to be 4 different products. There's going to be a sticker for your cell phone, Wi-Fi router, and other wireless devices. There's a bigger sort of sticker metal plate type thing for your car. There's a system of these metal plates that protects your whole home or your whole office. And then there is a very stylish bracelet that you wear with you and protects you wherever you go. So that's where we're headed. But before we dive into the details, let's just talk a little bit about the background. And first and foremost, why is it that we need to safeguard ourselves against EMFs? So, you know, as everybody clearly knows, we are surrounded by electromagnetic radiation all day, every day in this day and age. Our cell phones, of course, are emitting electronic or EMF radiation. Our Wi-Fi routers are, the cell phone towers down the street. Many of us have smart meters on the outside of our homes that are beaming EMF signals across town to the utility company. Many areas, every store we go into, every airport through, even in the park, of course, you know, you're getting cell phone reception. Therefore, all of this wireless communication requires electromagnetic radiation to function. So there's no way to get around it. And the good news is it's very convenient. The downside is that it is definitely not so good for our health. And there are now many studies that have come out that demonstrate various detrimental effects on our health. And, you know, a few of them are mentioned here: lowered immune response, DNA damage, changes in hormone levels, sleep issues. Even the US government, one of the agencies came out with a study that showed that exposures to EMFs about the same equivalent that you get from a cell phone will cause cancer in rats, certain types of cancer in rats. So, you know, there's no question at this point in time that it's something to be concerned about. It's not that everybody who makes a cell phone call is going to get sick the minute they do. You know, it's really the bigger issue is more about long-term chronic exposure, which is something that is new, right? We've only really had all this electromagnetic radiation in the world for the last 20 years or so. And it's getting more and more concentrated, and really there's just no knowledge of what this long-term exposure is going to do to our health. There is knowledge that, you know, it does have certain effects, especially at higher concentrations. Now, as I mentioned here, some people are more sensitive to electromagnetic radiation exposure than others. They're generally called EMF hypersensitive, or they have EMF hypersensitivity. There are people who can barely hold a cell phone up to their head and make a phone call without it just driving them crazy. And, you know, it varies from some people who just have a hard time sleeping, probably because of potentially EMFs in their life, to, on the other end of the spectrum, people who could probably live underneath a cell phone tower and not even notice a difference. So it is important to know that different people react differently to the EMF radiation exposure. The important thing, though, is that it affects everybody's health, regardless of how they feel it or what sort of symptoms, if any, that they get. Many people never will get symptoms. But, you know, to really learn more about it, I don't want to go into all the deep details about EMF radiation and your health. There's 2 really good websites listed here that have a really good, both of them have good summaries of the issues around EMF exposure or electromagnetic radiation exposure, what the potential health consequences are, and links to those scientific studies. So if you're into the science and you really want to dive deep and say, hey, is this for real? You'll find links to some of those studies there. And there's many more websites than that, but those are 2 really good places to start. So, you know, clearly it's an issue, and obviously, you know, we all are spending lots and lots of time consuming and interacting with media. And every time you're doing that, watching TV, playing on your cell phone, playing on your computer, you know, gaming, etc., you are being exposed to electromagnetic radiation, because all these devices are working wirelessly. Anything that's streaming or showing you pictures or communicating and it doesn't have a cable on it, that means there's wireless communication, and that means there's electromagnetic radiation behind it making it work. 3 billion people worldwide own smartphones now. 84% of us Americans do. So clearly this is something that there are very few people in the world today that it's not an issue for, that these products could not potentially benefit. So that's the good news, is that, you know, there's plenty of opportunity. Why BD Protect? So this exciting line of products that we came up with is very unique. As I mentioned, the first product is a small sticker that goes on your cell phone or your electronic devices. There's the bracelet that you wear wherever you go. There's what's called the home and office kit, which will turn your entire home or your entire office into a protected zone. And then there's the sticker for your car, which turns your car into a protected zone. Again, we'll dive more into those later, but that's what we're talking about today. All of these products are based on a proprietary bioenergetic technology that comes from our partners in Europe that Dave was mentioning earlier. And this bioenergetic technology neutralizes the harmful effects of the EMFs. Therefore, they do not have the negative health consequences that they would otherwise. This is just a quick high-level overview of how it works. So step one, at our workshop in Europe, there is energy that is basically transmitted onto the device, whatever it may be, the small sticker for the phone, the bracelet itself, the metal plate for the car or the home. The information is put on that device that then turns around and generates energy. So step two is, once that information has been transferred, that whatever it is, bracelet, plate, chip, is broadcasting the energy that was placed on it forever and ever. Amen. It never wears out. It keeps working forever. And when that energy comes into contact with the electromagnetic radiation from a device, such as a cell phone or a Wi-Fi router or a laptop, it interacts with the energy of that device, neutralizing out the harmful energy of the electromagnetic radiation that that device is transmitting, so that when that radiation then comes in contact with your body, it doesn't have the damaging frequencies that it otherwise would. The second thing it's doing is it's sending harmonizing energy to your body's what's called a biofield, and that's essentially the field of energy that we all have around our body. So the energy from the device is also interacting with our biofield, providing basically helpful energetic support to that, so that the body is better able to withstand whatever stress is being given to it by the EMFs of the devices. So, you know, a little bit more detail here in words, but that's basically what it's saying. The important thing to realize is that this energy that we're talking about here is what's called quantum energy, or subatomic energy. So what that means is that it's operating below the level of atoms, which is, as you may know, if you took a science class, that's the smallest particle that we basically work with in practical physics. But quantum energy happens below that. So quantum energy is a non-measurable field that science very much agrees exists, but it knows very little about. And, you know, there's a group of scientists and researchers in Europe, our partners there being some of them, that have really developed a way to manipulate the energy at that level so that they can create it and store it and then have it interact with other energy and create beneficial health effects. So that's sort of the short story behind where that energy comes from. The good news is, because it's quantum energy and not happening at the physical level, it doesn't interfere with the functioning of your wireless devices. So they continue to work normally. Your cell phone works, your Wi-Fi router works, everything in your protected house works, even though your health is being protected. And we'll go into that a little bit more on the next slide. Just to give you some other examples of what we're talking about with subatomic or quantum energy, many of you have probably heard of Qi, which is what they call the body's energy field in traditional Chinese medicine, or in Indian medicine, they call it prana. Ayurvedic medicine, it's called prana. Those are two basically different names for this same type of energy. There's no measuring it with a meter or anything like that, but yet it's very real. And healthcare practitioners have been manipulating people's health using those types of energy for thousands of years. So, two other examples of healthcare practices that use this type of subatomic energy are acupuncture, which of course all of us I'm sure have heard about, using needles to essentially direct this subatomic energy through the meridian system in the body to get that energy flowing better through the body. And then homeopathy is another form of holistic medicine that uses this type of energy in order to deliver the benefits that it offers. So, this is not new or unheard of. Bioenergy and working with the biofield of the human has been around literally for thousands of years. Now, the important thing to realize, however, is that bioenergetic technology like this is not blocking EMFs. It's not reducing EMFs. So if you hold up your EMF meter, for example, which you can buy on, Amazon or someplace for $75, if you hold it up to your cell phone while you're making a call, you're going to see the meter spike because it's emitting a lot of EMFs. Well, when you put the BD Protect sticker on the back and you make a cell phone call, the meter's going to look exactly the same. It's not blocking EMFs. What it's doing is it's neutralizing them, as we talked about on the earlier slide. And the good news is, again, that means your cell phone continues to work. It really is not practical to block EMFs. Number one, because if you do, your devices don't work. Yeah, you can block all the EMFs from your cell phone, but then of course you can't make or receive a phone call. You can block all the EMFs of your Wi-Fi router, but you can't connect to it then. So, and of course, moving around in the world, it's just not realistic to block ourselves from EMF radiation because it's everywhere. So neutralizing and using bioenergetic products like this is really the only practical way to do it. But it is important to know that it's not, some people will automatically think, oh, this is an EMF blocker, or this is an electromagnetic wave blocker. No, neutralizer. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. So the question comes up, well, okay, if I can't measure the activity of these products with a EMF meter, how the heck do I know that they're working? Well, there really is only one way, and that is by taking measurements of people's health with and without the technology when they're in the presence of EMFs. And you can do this yourself. It's not really that hard to do. There are many ways to do it. Really, the idea is you are going to measure somebody's health in their baseline state, without any exposure to EMFs. Then you're going to expose them to EMFs. The best way to do that, of course, is to have them make a cell phone. So have them hold their phone up to their ear for a few minutes. And then you take their health measurements again. Of course, what you're going to see is they've gone down pretty significantly because of the stress of the EMF radiation coming off the phone. Then what you're going to do is you're going to put a BD Protect product on either on the phone or the bracelet on the person, and they're going to make another phone call, and you're going to measure, after a couple of minutes, you're going to measure their health again. And what you're going to see is that their health with the BD Protect product on the phone or the bracelet around their wrist is going to be back to normal where it was in the first measurement. Sometimes it's even higher than it was in the beginning. For example, the BD Protect bracelet really is just going to give you a little bit of a health boost, even regardless of the types of EMFs you're exposed to. So here's a few examples of different types of testing you can do. Heart rate variability is, you can get a heart rate variability machine on the internet for a pretty reasonable price, and it's a technique of measuring various health parameters based on your heart rate, basically, and how it's beating and how it's changing. There's electrodermal testing, which is a way of testing the electrical conductivity of your skin. You can do blood testing. Live blood cell analysis is a very common way to look at the effect of this type of product, because if you put blood cells under a microscope, when they're under the stress of EMF radiation, they coagulate and get all jumbled together. But if there's protection of the person or during the EMF stress, the blood will continue to be normal, which means flowing around freely. And then, really you could even use basic physiological measurements: heart rate, blood pressure, pH level, pupillary oscillation, just your basic physical exam. Those types of measurements will even generally be noticeable when you're doing this type of testing. If you want to experiment with it, we recommend using the bracelet. That's the best way to test. The bracelet, because it is circling the meridians in your wrist, the energy is going directly into your body, circulating through the meridian system. As again, I mentioned, that's where acupuncture, the way acupuncture works, is on your meridian system. It quickly goes to work on your body, and you can see an immediate difference. And one of the really quick and easy tests that's available, and we'll send some more information about this later, how to do it, is if you take 2 glasses of lemon juice, natural lemon juice, not fake lemon juice that you get at the grocery store, but real lemon juice, 2 identical glasses of lemon juice, and you wrap the bracelet around the bottom of one of the glasses and not around the other, and you let them sit there for a minute or so, and then you taste the lemon juice in each of the glasses. You notice a dramatic difference. The one with the bracelet around it is much less bitter and much more pleasant tasting, just because the energy in that lemon juice has been harmonized. So that's a really quick and easy test to perform. So one of the other tests that we like to show that's been used, or that really shows pretty clearly the effects of the technology involved in the BD Protect products, is what we call our Crest Sprouts growth test. So this is the quick summary slide. These are 2 different bowls of sprouts that were grown next to this next to this Wi-Fi router here. That white box next to the bowl is a Wi-Fi router. You see on the left picture, there's nothing on that white box, the Wi-Fi router. You see on the right picture, there is the BD Protect sticker on there. And you see the difference in the health of these two bowls of sprouts. This is after being grown for 10 days. So a little more background on it. So, really the test was done in 2 phases. So phase 1, there were 2 bowls of Crest sprouts grown in the same room over 10 days. So in each case, there was a control group of sprouts, if you will, and the group of sprouts next to the Wi-Fi router. In phase 1, there was no protection on the Wi-Fi router. In phase 2, the BD Protect sticker was on there. And all the conditions were the same under both circumstances. So this is essentially, after phase 1, 10 days of growing the same amount of sprouts in the same bowl in the same room. This is the one next to the Wi-Fi router that doesn't have any protection. This is the one that wasn't next to a Wi-Fi router. Clearly, being next to the Wi-Fi router made a big difference in terms of the health of the sprouts. And here is phase 2. Phase 2 is the one bowl next to the Wi-Fi router again, but this time with the BD Protect sticker on it. This is the other bowl that isn't by the Wi-Fi router. Clearly, you can see there's literally no difference between the sprouts that were next to the Wi-Fi router with the protection and the ones that had no EMF exposure. So that's a pretty dramatic difference. So without protection, with protection. This is just some EMF meters that show the magnitude of the exposure from this router. So you see this on the right, you can see that the meter is in the red zone, and on the left, it's also in the red zone. They're 2 different types of reading. One's magnetic and one's electric. But there was very clearly a significant amount of EMFs coming from that router. This is next to the bowl of sprouts, the control group that it wasn't near an EMF. I'm sorry, it wasn't near a Wi-Fi router. And you can see there's 0 radiation next to that bowl. And this is just a picture of the growing conditions. So here on the right is where the bowls that were next to the Wi-Fi router were grown. Here on the left is what we call the control bowl. So pretty powerful impact there that you can see. You know, it's a very good visual on what EMF exposure can actually do to living organisms. So now let's just take a quick look at the actual products themselves. As I said, there are going to be 4 different products. The first one being the EMF Protection Sticker. So the sticker is about 1 inch by 1 inch, which my metric isn't that good. So I can't do that off the top of my head, but anyway, it's quite a small little sticker, and it fits on most electronic devices. Mobile phone, you just take off the cover of the phone, you put it on the back of the phone, and then you put your cover back over it. Wi-Fi router, it can go anywhere on the router. Laptops, iPads, generally you're going to put it on the bottom. You could also, on a laptop, put it on the keyboard area. Power supplies, baby monitors, anything that is communicating wirelessly. As I mentioned earlier, if it's communicating and there's no cable plugged into it, then it's communicating wirelessly. And the BD Protect sticker will neutralize the EMF radiation from that when it's attached to it. It is generally something that you can get off and then move to a different device. So it's not like once you put it on your cell phone, it's there forever. And if you get a new phone, you have to get a new one. Generally, it will peel right off and still even be sticky enough to put on something else. So a very flexible, very important product. Just, you know, it is important to know that the mobile phone and the Wi-Fi router are the 2 most powerful emitters of EMF radiation in most people's lives. They are sending signals, they're broadcasting. Obviously, in the case of a mobile phone, it's broadcasting a few miles down the road to the cell phone tower. That's a long way for a little phone like that to communicate. So it's got to be a powerful signal. Likewise, the Wi-Fi router, in order to create this area of a few hundred feet around it where all the devices can communicate, it's also broadcasting out very strong. Something like a laptop or an iPad, not as strong because they're just kind of communicating back and forth. They're not broadcasting. They're taking the signal and just sending it a little ways back. Cordless phones, baby monitors, they are pretty strong emitters. So those are definitely important ones to get the EMF sticker for. So that's product number 1. Product number 2, which is a very exciting product, is the EMF Protection Bracelet. So the bracelet you wear, of course, obviously on your wrist. The good news is it protects you from all the EMFs that you come into contact with anywhere that you go. So that includes, you know, in your house, that includes in your office, that includes on the bus, that includes at the airport. It's going to protect you from all the EMFs, and that means the ones from your own cell phone, the one from your own Wi-Fi router. It's a very flexible product in the sense that, you know, it's really doing a lot of protection against a lot of different EMFs. It also happens to have, as you look at the picture on the left there, you can see these 4 little colored elements on the bottom. So those have even extra energy in them to support the body's health with these 4 different things: far infrared rays, enhanced energetic grounding, just additional energetic support for the health, and then augmentation of negative ions, which sort of help create a more balanced energy state. So these are all just sort of bonuses, if you will. And as I mentioned earlier, you know, we've done measurements that show just by putting the bracelet on your wrist, regardless of the amount of EMFs that you're exposed to, your health is going to get a little boost. So that's where that's coming from. Those extra energy elements are very unique to the BD Protect bracelet. It is something that you can wear 24 hours a day while you're sleeping. It's waterproof, so you can even shower and swim in it. And then, of course, you know, you can wear it even on your ankle. Some people don't like to wear it on their wrist, but, you know, it's a very stylish accessory. So, you know, you can wear it at work, out at night, but it's also, you know, durable enough to wear while you're jogging or hiking or swimming or whatever it may be. So it's a very versatile product. Then there's the home and office kit, which we talked about, creating a protected area within your whole house or your whole apartment, your whole office. Any space basically can be protected. And it comes with 5 metal stickers. So there's one bigger one, which is about 3.5 by 2.5, something along those lines, inches. So it's not huge. That goes on the inside door of the fuse box or the circuit breaker. Then the other 4 smaller ones go on 4 different outlets within the home. And what that does is it's the energy from those metal plates that are stuck onto the outlets in the fuse box are circulating through the wiring in the house, creating a protected area through the whole house, so that all EMFs, all beings within the house, pets, people, plants, they're all protected from all the EMF's exposure or all the EMF radiation within that zone. That means coming from inside the house, the Wi-Fi router, the appliances, the TVs, etc., as well as from outside the house, the smart meters, the cell phone towers down the street. So again, a very powerful product that is really great protection, because that way too, you don't necessarily have to sleep in your bracelet if you have one. You can for extra protection, but you know, not mandatory if you have your house protected as well. This standard kit protects up to 1,500 square feet. Again, my apologies that I can't do that in square meters off the top of my head, but as you get into a bigger area, you just need to get extra kits in order to cover the higher area. And then lastly, we have the car. The car is really similar to the home and office product. It's creating a protected area within the whole car. So all people, all pets within the car are protected from all the electromagnetic radiation being emitted by the car itself, which there's a lot of it in modern cars these days. They all have computer systems and built-in Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, etc. That's all emitting electromagnetic radiation. And it's also protecting from the EMFs coming from outside the car. Again, the cell phone tower down the street, the Wi-Fi routers you're driving by. But basically today's cars are like EMF radiation hot boxes, because you're in this metal box. Not only that, you've got your cell phone and your passenger cell phones in there beaming EMF. So cars are full of EMFs these days. And then add on that top of that, if it's an electric or a hybrid vehicle, and it's going to be even worse. So the car is an excellent product for that. And of course, the last question that you're going to start to ask is, well, okay, if I have the bracelet and it's protecting me from all EMFs everywhere I go, why do I need the sticker, and why do I need the home product? Well, the answer to that question is all of these products are working together synergistically. And therefore, if you really want optimal protection, you know, in an ideal scenario, you have the home kit to protect your whole home. Then everyone inside is protected all the time. Then, as I mentioned, the bracelet is optional. Then if you're at home, you don't necessarily have to wear it because your whole home is protected. But as soon as you leave the house, you definitely want to have the bracelet on, because then you're no longer protected by your home system, and you're still going to come into contact with many, many EMFs. And then, of course, the sticker for your cell phone is good if you use your cell phone all the time, which, of course, for most of us is the case. Now, if you just make one phone call a day or 2 or 3 phone calls a day, or check your messages once a day, and you have a bracelet on, could you skip the sticker for your cell phone? You could. But for most of us, it's important to leverage all of these products to really have the optimal protection for our health. So that is the high-level overview of BD Protect. Very exciting new line of products that is really here at a really good time, because more and more people are becoming aware of the health concerns around electromagnetic radiation, especially now that 5G technology is rolling out, which, as many of you know, involves even more electromagnetic radiation exposure, more cell phone towers at higher frequencies closer to where we work and live. So more and more people are really ready for this type of product to help protect their health. Thank you very much for your attention. Happy to answer questions if there are any.
And Marty, hi, it's Shannon. Just one quick question I saw in the messages, and people are super excited. They were asking, does it have to be recharged or have batteries replaced?
Good question, and the answer is no. There is no recharging, there are no batteries, so none of this actually uses electricity to work. As I mentioned, this bioenergetic technology, because it happens at the quantum level, it's essentially a permanent energy that doesn't need recharging or plugging or refreshing or anything like that. It's literally going to work forever. So once you have that cell phone chip or that bracelet, you don't have to worry about replacing it.
Marty, thank you so much. That information was absolutely not only incredible, but extremely interesting at the same time. It's an unusual combination when you can get technical information that also sounds interesting to all of us that were listening. So thank you so much. And from the response that I was able to monitor with our hundreds of people that are currently on this call, you definitely hit a lot of great interest levels with people literally from all around the world that were telling you, thank you, and thank you by design, and what a great thing. So you've done a remarkable job for us tonight in introducing the BD Protect line of products. And I have just a couple questions for you. On those very dramatic pictures of the Crest sprouts example, those were absolutely beautiful, very dramatic examples of the principles that you were sharing with us. If I'm thinking about that, the Crest sprouts example and the dramatic difference in those two bowls from the protected bowl and the unprotected bowl, is there a way that you can relate that to the use of a cell phone on a daily basis that would also, I'm not talking about a plant type of example, but just something similar that we might be able to get our arms around what that really means in terms of not only the short term, but the long term exposure to the radiation that comes from such a commonly used device as our mobile phones.
Sure. Well, I think the best way to think about it is that the electromagnetic radiation, if you look at that bowl of Crest sprouts, you can clearly see that it was stressed out by having that EMF radiation so close to it. You know, of course, most of us are not sleeping with our head 2 inches from an EMF, or I mean, from a Wi-Fi router. At least I hope we're not. If we are, we need to stop. But you know, the reality is we are sleeping within whatever, somewhere between 10 and 100 feet of that, and we're doing it 24/7 for years on end, right? So it's sort of like, even though the effects might not be as dramatic as it was on that on the Crest sprouts over 10 days right next to the Wi-Fi router, still you have the similar type of exposure over years and years and years. And so the real thing to be concerned about is the stress on your system. And the stress comes from cellular stress. It comes from, you know, just really low level sort of, it's what I like to refer to as an environmental toxin. It just has, takes a toll on your body's health and your body's energy over the long run. And so by protecting yourself, you're not going to have that long-term sort of wearing down. And, you know, how does that long-term wearing down of your health manifest itself? Well, as you could see on that one slide where I sort of talked briefly about the different health concerns, there's many different ways that it could end up manifesting itself. And if you dive more deeply into those two websites with the research, you'll see, you know, it could be anything from mental health to sleep issues to, you know, fertility issues. There's lots of things that have been shown. If different people are going to manifest it in different ways. So the important thing is just get rid of the stress on your health. And therefore, hopefully you have nothing manifesting at any time.
Excellent information. Sticking with the cell phone example, I know that many of us, just probably out of a matter of personal habit, we plug the phone in and maybe put it on a nightstand right next to our bed. And it might not be, of course, right at our pillow, but not that far away. If I'm understanding what you're telling me correctly, you're suggesting once we are using this technology, this BD Protect sticker on our phone, it means that we can actually sleep peacefully, knowing that we're not going to necessarily be exposing ourselves to long-term consequences because we're now going to have a sticker on our cell phone. Is that in any way a practical and an accurate example?
It is. I mean, the answer to that is yes and no. So yes, it will be protecting you. What I would say is no, because you definitely want to still minimize your exposure to electromagnetic radiation as much as you can, right? And there's really two practical ways that most of us can do that. One is don't sleep with the cell phone right next to your bed. Or if you do, just put it in airplane mode, because then it's not sending and receiving signals. And two, turn off your Wi-Fi router when you go to sleep. So those are two very simple ways to just lower your overall EMF exposure. Again, it's not like, you know, you won't be protected if you do that. But again, I compare it to an environmental toxin, right? Let's call it mold or whatever. It's like you want to protect yourself from whatever it might do to your health, but you also want to have as little of it in your life to begin with as possible, right? So the best approach to EMF protection is going at it from both directions, not unnecessarily exposing yourself to EMFs, but more importantly, having this protection as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, once again, thank you so much for your presentation tonight. This is only the first of our EMF 101 series, so we will certainly be looking forward to inviting you back and having you share more of your expertise with us as we then get ready to really have an explosive amount of sales growth around the world with these BD Protect products. So, Marty, thank you so much. We're delighted that you have been here. And for all of our brand ambassadors, let me just tell you that these outstanding BD Protect products are coming simultaneous with which, as you know, is coming up very soon. We will be giving you more details about these products and the launch, shipping details, etc., very soon. And on top of that, the examples that you saw, for example, the Crest sprouts examples, we will be including a lot more information for you in the marketing area that will help not only you to understand the value of these products, but you'll be well armed and well equipped with simple yet duplicatable information that you'll be able to share with your team members and your customers that will give them a great amount of inspiration to also become users of these BD Protect products. So to all of you, we thank you so much for joining with us on this product training episode tonight.